These are the footsteps of the shaitan, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, la tattabi'u khutuwati shaitan. Be aware of the footsteps of the shaitan. Don't follow the footsteps of the shaitan. What are these footsteps of the shaitan? Let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, the shaitan comes to you. He comes to you and says, oh, look at that girl down there. She's saying salam. Say salam. And say, okay, hi there. Hey, how's it going, mate? Everything alright? You know, nice, cheerful. And he says, oh, go and give her dawah. She wants to be a Muslim. Go and give her dawah. So, mashallah, you want to give dawah, mashallah. Right, so you go and give her dawah. So, do you want to know about Islam? And she says, hey, what are you doing? You can't just look down when you're talking to her. You've got to look at her. Look at her and give dawah. This is the right way. What are you, man? Islam doesn't teach you this. Come on, look at her and give the dawah. It says, oh, hello, sister. How are you doing? Good. And then the shaitan says, ask her how the weather is. Ask her what she's doing tonight. And then you ask her, sister, you know, if you have time, please read this booklet. Oh, how's the weather? And then you start chit-chatting. And then the shaitan says, take a number. Take a phone number. You're gonna tell her about Islam? Yeah. So you take the phone number and you give her your phone number. Right? And the shaitan says, oh, after a couple of hours, what about the sister? You know, what if she dies today? You have to call her. Yeah, give her a call. And you give her a call and she talks in a beautiful voice. And you talk to her in a beautiful voice. And then you say, okay, subhanAllah, you have to give her more dawah. Ask her to meet you at this spot. And you tell her, sister, please meet me at this spot. And she comes and you come. And then you make it, you know, subhanAllah, little by little, little by little, little by little, until you end up committing zina with her. Until you end up committing zina with her. You see, shaitan is not stupid. He won't say, go and jump on her. No, he's not going to say that. He'll be stupid to say that. He'll be stupid to say that. But he starts with these small steps. These are the khutuwat of shaitan. These are the small steps of the shaitan. Ya akhi, if you can stay away from the first step, then be assured you will never reach the last step of shaitan. If you can stay away from the first step, then be assured you will never reach the last step. This is the first and foremost and most important lesson today. And that is, stay away from the footsteps of the shaitan. If you wish to be steadfast upon this religion. And mashallah, we know a lot of things. Our practice is very little. We know a lot of things. And if you wish to stay away from the footsteps of the shaitan, then you must, if you wish to stay away from the last step, you must stay away from the first step. Now, you see, once an Arab from the desert came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he said, Ya Rasulullah, tell me one thing. Tell me one thing that will take me into paradise. I apologize, I saw the beautiful beach out there, you know, and I felt thirsty, right? So I'm having some water, right? He said, Ya Rasulullah, tell me one thing, just one thing. I don't want two, not three, just one. Tell me one thing that will lead me to paradise. This is what we want, correct? We see, you know, for example, Islam is so complicated and it's so so diverse and so many things to know in Islam, etc., etc. So people just say, oh, just leave me all of this. Just tell me one thing and just one thing that will lead me to paradise. Right? Simple answer, correct? This is the American philosophy, correct? Just a simple way to paradise. Right. So the Arab came and he said, tell me one thing that will lead me to paradise. And so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Qul amantu billah. He said, say, I believe in Allah, thumma istaqim, and then be steadfast upon it. Now, you see, my brothers, this hadith has been very greatly misunderstood by us. This hadith has been very greatly misunderstood by us. What do I mean by that? You see, people have taken this hadith and have understood it to mean that we should just say La ilaha illallah, and then keep on saying La ilaha illallah, and keep on doing whatever we do, and then keep on saying La ilaha illallah, and then when we die, just say La ilaha illallah, and straight we'll go to paradise. Correct or not? This is what we have understood, isn't it? But this is absolutely false. Absolutely false. The biggest lie. This is the biggest lie that the Muslims are facing. Naam. Just to say La ilaha illallah and khalas, you'll go to paradise? If it was so easy, is Islam really so easy? Have you forgotten the second part of Rasulullah's answer? It was thumma istaqim, and then be steadfast upon it. How can you be steadfast upon La ilaha illallah if you do not know the conditions of La ilaha illallah? If you do not know the precepts of La ilaha illallah? If you don't know the shurut of La ilaha illallah? That which La ilaha illallah conditions. You see, you have a key in your pocket, don't you? You have a key. And does anybody have a key that's just a long piece of metal? No, it has teeth as well, right? So La ilaha illallah as well has teeth, you see. You must have conditions for every single thing. Life is not that easy. Islam is not easy as well. If you wish to hold on to La ilaha illallah, you must obey the conditions of La ilaha illallah. And these conditions are to hold steadfast to this religion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu udkhulu fi silmi kaffa. Enter into this Islam, this religion, in its complete entirety, in its complexity, in its entirety. Enter into it completely. Not half, not a fourth of it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He revealed the surahs, He changed the orders. And He put them, in certain surahs, sometimes a verse would come about a ruling, and sometimes a verse about Bani Israel, and another time a verse about Jannah, another time a verse about hell. He did not put all the rulings of the Quran in one surah, and thereafter all the verses about Bani Israel in one surah. No, rather He mixed it up. Why? Why, ya akhi? So that you just don't hold on to one part of the Quran. Not only onto one part of the Quran, rather into its entirety, into all of it. All of it, ya akhi. You can't just say, I accept this part and I don't accept that part. You can't be steadfast upon something and leave something else. This is not being truly steadfast upon the religion. Being steadfast, ya akhi, is to accept Islam in its complete entirety, in its complexity, in its totality, in its total view, in all its ahkam, in all its rulings. You must accept it all and then thereafter be steadfast upon it. And then be steadfast upon it. Indeed, if this is your goal, that the angels descend upon you on the day that you die, then you must say La ilaha illallah and thereafter be steadfast upon it. One of the most important things to know about being steadfast upon the religion is that the heart must be guided before the limbs. You see, you can't be steadfast upon the religion unless your heart is firstly steadfast upon the religion. Because you see, it's like a ruler. Have you seen, for example, a raiding party, an army? Have you seen an army which is always victorious? Then a victorious army always has a fantastic ruler, a fantastic commander, correct or not? A very strong commander. This is what makes a small army win, correct or not? This is what makes a small army win. In the same way, if your body is that army, then your heart is the commander. Your heart is the commander. If your heart is strong upon this religion, then indeed it will guide your limbs to be steadfast upon the religion, and to be upon the religion, and to be upright upon the religion. And if your heart is weak upon the religion, and you truly don't really want this religion, then indeed your limbs will also be the same. Ya akhi fillah, ya ukhti fillah, my dearest brothers and sisters in Islam, you must try your level best. You must try your level best to convince yourself and your heart. You convince yourself and your heart to be upon this religion. It is only when your desires are in accordance with what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with, that is the time when you know that your limbs will also submit to what he came with. Na'am. As Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he said, none of you will enter Jannah. He said, none of you will enter Jannah. Another hadith, he said, none of you will truly believe until your whims and your desires, until your whims and your desires are in accordance with what I came with. Until your heart really wants what I came with. Until your heart really desires what I came with. You can't just say Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to keep a beard and I don't like keeping beard. You can't say Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do this or used to do that and I don't like to do it. No, ya akhi, you can't do that. Rather, your heart has to be, and your whims and your desires, which is representative of your heart, has to be in accordance with what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with. This is what true istiqamah entails. This is what truly being upon the straight path entails. That your true desires and your inner goals and your aspirations be in accordance with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala requires of you. Sometimes the going gets very tough. Sometimes, I know I've lived in the West, and, medical college and all that, life has been very difficult. And the pressure from the family, and father saying do well, and mother saying do well, you know how it is. And the pressure from the medical college, and it was quite tremendous pressure. And then the fitna of the women, and the fitna of this sex, drugs and rock and roll culture that we live in was quite tremendous. And I'm sure many of my brothers and sisters actually go through this day by day.